Hi. Have you ever heard of a small indie game where you get to explore
Lands so vast
and so big and allow you to explore and delve into your creative and inspirative desires, letting you either
frolic in the grassy fields,
building large
gigantic furnished homes, allowing you to house an entire family,
or even delve into the heart of the world to witness mysteries and horrors that you'd never find to occur in your regular, ordinary day-to-day life? Well, that would be Terraria. But the 3D version of that is Minecraft, a game that everyone and their mother knows about. And unlike Terraria, Minecraft is actually fun. Minecraft, as you might have guessed, suggested from the name, is a game centered around mining and crafting. Mining being the means of gathering resources from breaking rocks with a reasonable pickaxe or chopping down a tree with brute force with a passion only found in Samuel L. Jackson's personal opinion of legless lizards up on his aerial vehicle.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
And crafting, well, being crafting. Go team crafting! Woo! Crafting is an obvious pivotal mechanic to all of Minecraft for creating tools and items and gear that you would normally never find naturally occurring elsewhere in the game. What about mining? Long story short, I'm gonna try to beat the Ender Dragon without mining anything. Not wood, not leaves, not bedrock, nothing. With some slight exceptions. These blocks I'm referring to I have dubbed dynamic blocks. Although they're not really blocks per se. Pretty much it's just stuff that you can interact with or break immediately. This being stuff like water, lava, torches, fire, grass, levers, things like that. Things that you'd regularly occur with that would have no full block formation. Or you kind of just encounter. But those are just the small little stipulations for just the challenge along the way. Everything else is straight and narrow. Don't mind anything. That's it. I'm not gonna make a cobblestone generator and just go ham. I am not doing hardcore mode though. That is barbaric. I've seen cavemen beat children with rocks that would never do this. Alright, enough jibber jabbering. You've seen the title. You heard the rules. You know the stipulations. Let's just jump into it. Now, first steps are simple. Shelter, bed, and food. Can't get any more straightforward than that, unless you tack on standing there. This would usually be a cause for concern given I'm no longer allowed to build my shelter without somehow stuffing along wood. Nothing to be worried about though. All I need to do is find a village, and I can have all my needs met. So, with the obvious first step ready in motion, let's just go and find it. Let's see. Let's just go find a village before PETA gets on my ass. Strolling about the wildlife and crossing the large and boundless bodies of water, as well as a river the size of a pin, I stumble across one of the many ruined portals that I'll come across in this run. Although having some pretty decent starting gear to get me going, such as armor, weapons, and food, it's not really all that beneficial across the entire challenge. What would really be awesome would be a village to get me some sheltered in and a nice place to sleep. If only I could find something like that.
Behind you!
What's that? Look behind you? Yeah, I know. I filmed this ahead of time. This really feels like that shtick in Kingdom Hearts 1, where Sora casually misses Donald and Goofy every time he decides to pass any set of doors in Traverse Town, which, I don't know. Call me crazy, but I feel like I would absolutely clock a spiky-haired kid with giant clown shoes who has the apparel of a kaleidoscope for primary colors, just walking through a set of double doors directly in front of them. But who knows? Apparently, Apparently I'm gifted with the curse of the sight of a cartoon character. So, as I continued onward, looping around a mountain, perusing the sights, and apparently having a huge hate boner for the local wildlife, I took a couple paces and paused. Yep, you guessed it. A village. This would be a cool milestone for the challenge if I didn't pass one and then proceed to waste 45 minutes just to stumble across the
same village.
I truly am just a Disney character. This stage is rather mundane, to be fair. I ended up just rummaging through the village's chests, being a local disturbance by making loud noises and bothering the children by busting into their houses and poking them relentlessly. You know, stuff we've all done from time to time. Only to then afterwards leave them with pretty much scraps of what they originally owned and just kick off, but not without getting to walk in front of every house they own and just stare blissfully into the sunset. As the sun starts dipping below the horizon, I begin proceeding onward, taking a dip in the local ocean, finding a local landmark poking out of the water, and finding myself almost getting my ass handed to me by the water zombie who, for some reason, is throwing pitchforks like they're being shot from a gun. As I happily leave from the water arena I somehow found myself in, I came across a lava pool that began burning a tree down that's right next to it. Now you might think this is a rather mundane thing to note, and you have a point. But this is what prompted me for coming up with an idea, a strategy that helps me get from the beginning of the game, where I am right now with nothing but the clothes on my back, which is very little, the sword in my hand, which is very dull, to getting to defeating and beating and blowing up and shooting and killing and exploding the Ender Dragon. I don't need a pickaxe to mine stone. I don't need an axe to chop wood, or even my hands for that matter. What regularly occurring force can destroy blocks while also leaving a remainder of the said broken blocks left? That's right, explosions. And what's the best way to incur explosions? But no, not World War II. Creepers. If I can just lure a creeper to some nearby stone or some nearby trees and let its explosive tendencies occur and detonate, I could just collect what remains from the explosion afterwards. This breakthrough is the cornerstone to what will eventually get me to the Ender Dragon, or the End Portal for that matter. After way too long of guiding creepers to some trees, I eventually got enough wood to eventually be able to craft things. Along with all that wood I collected, there was also a bunch of dirt laid around in my inventory. So I did the first thing I thought of and broke the #1 rule of Minecraft. I made a house out of dirt. Yep, I made a house out of dirt and also screwed up the blueprint by blocking off the doorway I originally intended for. I'm struggling if you couldn't tell. Not to worry though, because despite wasting ample amount of time and a lot of resources just to build the stupid hut that provides no benefit, I made a boat and coasted off into the sea to never return or see this place ever again. Anywho, as I set sail across the sea, hoping to find some more villages and scavenge for some precious resources like food, weapons, armor, diamonds, also obsidian and iron. You want to know what I came across? An ocean monument. Do you know what those are? Because I sure do. And they suck. If you even try to explore it, you're almost certain to drown if you're unprepared. And if you even so much as sniff too close to it, you're suddenly hit with an effect that turns your body into molasses. I hate these things so much so that when I saw it from a mile away, 200 years away. My gut instinct. One hurdle out of the way. It's not too biggie. Sailing off forward in this new direction with all the gear I have now and all the hopes I could ever possess. Hopefully I can find sailing off in this new direction. Hopefully I can find a more suitable base of operations. And like clockwork, I start beating the absolute crap out of the local wildlife. Would you stop? Trek down a hill into a nearby stream. I sail out to try to get into a new shelter. If you're looking at this and thinking, that's a kind of suspicious. You're right. That's because it's the exact same landmark I passed before I stumbled across that burning tree.
You shouldn't even gotten out of bed.
I found myself looping into a giant circle with no progress made.
You shouldn't.
That's fine and all. A broken clock is right at least twice a day, right? As upon returning back to this chunk of the world that I am apparently forever bound to, I come across above ground ruins holding precisely 3 chests, meaning 3 chances for possible good loot, especially for buried treasure. Unfortunately, I was not able to collect anything from those chests as it was still dark out, so I still needed to go and find some shelter, hopefully at nearby village. And it seems there's some luck on my side, because it didn't even take that long to find a nearby village within close proximity to those ruins. And I bet it will also come as no surprise to anyone that this was the exact same village I have been stuck with since the beginning of the video. I did one big, gigantic loop back to the start, all because I got course corrected by 2 of Poseidon's tombs. I am stuck within invisible walls like an old PS2 video game. I proceeded to then sleep until day and try to suffocate the iron golem in sand. It didn't work, so I proceeded to try to push him down a ravine, to which I found out that iron golems have no fall damage. Because, go figure, I'm getting nothing but gorgeous luck plays here. Doesn't matter though. I jumped down there, killed him, took his iron, proceeded to do fuck all for the next several minutes, which I then also proceeded to forget that I was going to the ruins next door with hard-to-get resources, the 3 chest ruins that I said not even 30 seconds ago. Instead, I sailed across huge bodies of water, came across 2 villages, killed, blew up, slain several uglies and baddies, and all that without getting any real progress in the meantime. But I got this pretty awesome view. So, you can't really say it wasn't worth it in the end, I guess. This was over a half hour of useless sidetracking. I'm starting to think the real challenge of this challenge isn't the restriction I've applied on myself, but my inability to hold a consistent thought for more than 12 seconds. Most of the footage I have for this playthrough is either of my game paused while I scroll on TikTok, or of me getting sidetracked by nothing for no reason, only to then remember what I was doing originally, maybe an hour or so later, which, come to think of it, is kind of what the average Minecraft player does with their homework. So, really, I'm just playing the game how it's meant to be played. Oh, is something at? I crossed the ocean again, killed an armadillo for some reason, climbed a hill, found the portal from the beginning again, and nothing else of note, really. After a good half hour of who knows what at this point, I finally returned back to what I'm now dubbing the dig site. Ironically named, I know, specifically because, in spite of my circumstances and challenge at hand, I need to dig this up at some point if I'm going to be able to do anything at all. I also decided for a short period, at the very least, this would reserve as my actual home, my first HQ. Now that I have a decent respawn point, the next step, break into the chests. The only method that would actually prove any usefulness is, you guessed it, blowing shit up. At this stage, I wasn't too confident how blowing stuff up worked, so I have a couple of tries of me just luring creepers just slightly out of range in hopes that the range wouldn't blow up the items inside it as well, with creeper after creeper missing the entire box until... Ladies and gentlemen, we've got loot. Rolling on over to the next chest, same method as before. Like shooting fish in a barrel. Now, not only does this pack away the annoying hairs that are chests that I recently wasn't able to access, I now have a buried treasure map. Buried treasures are a surefire way to get items like TNT for on-the-go explosions, as well as emeralds for trading with villagers, and even just gold and diamonds. All's well and good though. It only took me roughly 5 hours of normal gameplay to accomplish what a speedrunner would do in 10 minutes or Dream would do in 10 seconds with his give me diamond button and fake speedrun button directly next to each other. Why don't we head on over to the buried treasure site, you might ask? That's easy.
Because it's buried underwater.
The big crutch about explosions is that they cannot damage or destroy blocks underwater, which proves a big issue because where I need to go is directly down. Hell, even if I could, there's no way I would take all that time of luring a creeper to a burial site and just have it explode several time after time again for such a small reward, right? I wouldn't waste my time like that, right? Right? "15 stacks of sand, roughly 280 creepers killed, not including the ones that exploded to help me gather the sand, so 150, maybe 200 more added on. 50 TNT crafted, with a cumulative count of roughly 5 hours minimum, not including the running, fighting, building, destroying, almost dying, exploding, sell, and deforestation. Please forward all of your comments to my lawyer. Brought us all to this grand event of getting to the bottom of the sandy pit. Two diamonds, 3 gold, 7 emeralds, 13 iron, and some fish. In the time it took me to gather the resources to build up and then destroy the said crater that we just made, I was able to discover 4 broken ships, 6 broken portals, 11 villages containing the resources that we just got from that crater, and a partridge in a pear tree. All of which making this not only fruitless, but also stupid of me to consider doing this again. But, you know, this whole wasting all of my time and effort and energy on one dumb idea shtick really kind of soured this chunk I've been held to for ages. So, in my travels, I passed by a tundra area full of spruce trees. Spruce is the best wood, by the way. Hands down, no contest. Why don't we just build there? Make another home. This might sound like a waste of time, but being surrounded by a lot of wood and having creepers explode is really, really beneficial. So, out I set, looking for a new decent home, fresher start, and better horizons to look onto. And not long after, I found it. The new home.
Hey, how's it going, MTV? Also known as my TV. Welcome to my humble abode out in the woods. Les Chalet Dance Less Boys. Not sure what that means, but with a house like this, you don't need to know anything, because you'll be coasting off cool vibes and the feng shui till the sun drops below the horizon. Come on, let me show you around. Here at the entrance, we've got a 4th century BCE overarching wooden privacy wall, courtesy of the Greco-Roman period architecture, lit by a single torch to give you the feeling and aesthetic of being back in the Dark Ages. Lord knows I've been there. What? It even comes fitted with a grindstone for all your blacksmithing needs. Sadly, you'll never be the best blacksmith. Jordan Grayman's held that honor. Mansfield is legendary. Now there's a lovely little dig as a fully furnished 1-bed, 0-bath, fitted with a full-sized chest, twin-sized bed, crafting table, anvil, and even a furnace.
Furnace.
Blast furnace. Feed the beast. Infinity evolved.
Now each element is located right next to the entryway, meaning that you don't have to take so much as a single step to get all your daily tasks and maintenance done. Your oven, located right next to your workbench, letting you eat, cook, and craft the next big thing, while your storage containers are up right next to, so you can stuff all your valuables, your knickknacks, your tools, all your goods and junk. Next to your kitchen/workroom is your bedroom, fitted with a $3,798 Innovation Series i8 smart bed with a $400 integrated base and frame. What the hell? And a 100% firm iron anvil to use as a quick and easy nightstand. It seems I have some visitors. The neighborhood around here can get real rowdy sometimes. Hey, kids, could you?
Dude, let's that kid break into someone's house. What the fuck? How was that noise?
This sweet slice of paradise is all mine. All for just the low price of $748 million a week. That's right. That's barely enough for a carton of eggs or a New York studio apartment. Don't ask me what my mortgage is. I'll cry. Oh, nah, I built a library in the back.
Anywho, now with a more permanent HQ finalized, it's about time we got rolling on getting this challenge over with. Lord knows it's taken long enough as is. From that, we're going to need to start to gather beyond basic necessities like diamond gear, eyes of ender, both for finding and opening the end portal, as well as maybe some golden apples just to ensure I don't get stomped out. So, new checklist with 3 things on the agenda. First off, we need to find a mine shaft, specifically for apples and especially golden apples. Maybe if we're lucky, we can come across some diamonds, but I wouldn't hold your breath on that. Second, we'll need to find the Deep Dark, and specifically the ancient city you can find within it, for easy diamond gear, without all the hassle of having to search for diamonds just loosely around in someone's pockets. Thirdly, and lastly, I need to go to
the Nether
for both
ender pearls
and blaze rods. First things first, we gotta go and find a mine shaft.
Are you sure?
Admittedly, it took a couple hours, but all in due time. I struck gold on accident when exploring caves after giving up the whole search altogether. And it had some goodies to boot.
Are you
A few minutes in, and I got a good few of apples. some glowberries, and even some golden apples. Though I didn't feel like I was done with this place just yet, so I continued onward, and in hindsight, that was probably the best choice I've made in this entire run.
Oh, God. Oh.
Hitting a detour and running down a tunnel brought me to a, decent find, if you could call it. I think this counts as a mine shaft, right? Trekking on through what is essentially the devil's anus brought me to some more chests and goodies and pathways to venture through. This path is gonna be important later. I don't know why, but I managed to get my boat stuck in this hole, thinking I could just glitch through it. But, you know. Eventually, I made a U-turn, went down that one path I mentioned, and, stronghold found, I guess. Sure as hell saves me the time. And that's not even the half of it. What with all the usual findings, iron doors, chests, libraries, this stronghold had something new up its sleeve.
What the hell is this place?
This, every pony, is the Trials update. Something I have never interacted with or experienced in any playthrough of Minecraft. Which really sucks, cause this is probably the first thing you think of when you hear about Minecraft. I bet it's even gonna show up in the movie. Really, the Trials is just a dumb gauntlet full of tornado blazes, new skeletons-ish, and I guess silverfish for some reason?
But it comes in real handy, as the gauntlet itself comes included with beds so immediately close to the end stronghold itself, allowing for a perfect spawn point later on. Just gonna... Did you see that?
I spent a fair amount of time going through, trying out the different areas and stages and arenas that they had at their disposal. It really helps with gathering supplies, especially getting arrows to use against the Ender Dragon. Although I sadly didn't get the hammer.
He's real! Dude, stake my...
And after a bit further of searching, we found it. The end portal, now discovered, within our grasp, and with a convenient respawn point should we die. All we need now? Size of enders from blazes and endermen. Which means now, we need to go to the ancient city. Get your cheers of right now, right now. With how huge this place is, if I can't find a full set of diamond armor, I'm quitting the challenge. Check the runtime. Do you think I found it? All that wool I found came in pretty handy for getting around this place. And even more so for letting me open chests. And the loads of gear I got. Mostly pants and shards. It all worked out pretty great. Until it didn't.
Probably a good time to hit the Nether right about now.
You want some? Uh-oh. Seems I made a wrong turn and ended up in... Oh, trekking across the nether wastes and forests was never all that fun for me, personally. And the nether has never really interested me. Especially when I can't make safe dig tunnels throughout the entire place like a mole. But at the end of the day, it's just a small hoop that I have to jump over once, right? Right? Did he just emote on me? It took me roughly an hour or two to fight, walk, then even get creative with vines to eventually find and enter the Nether Fortress. And not too long after, a blaze spawner.
What?
Yeah, so I'm gonna jump back to that previous point. I really hate traveling to the Nether. Its terrain is just so annoying and confusing, and the whole place is just so janky and bloated. Everything is red, and I might as well just be roaming around in the Minecraft simulation AI generators thing that they put out online. You know how I said it was roughly a 2-hour dangerous journey to get to the Nether Fortress and even the blaze spawner? Well, what I thought was going to be another 2-hour dangerous trek back, I found out real quick that it was actually just 10 minutes away. Don't you just love it here? It's like a giant wart grew up on your back and was put in Florida's sauna pits. Anywho, got home, hit up the crafting table, made some eyes of enders, although one short for having only 9 ender pearls, jumped into some nearby caves to get as much arrows as possible, and maybe even lucky enough to get some ender pearls. Don't worry, I did not. Took another crack at the gauntlet and came to a sudden realization. I'm doing it. I can blow up diamonds. I wonder how many hours I could have shaved off from my playthrough by just blowing stuff up. It's got me literally everywhere in this game. Although this revelation was literally groundbreaking, I didn't do too much with it other than get like 10 more diamonds than I already had. With the Undercity place giving me plenty of gear and then some, it really wasn't needed, especially this late in the game. Anywho, returned to the cesspit, the Nether, got the last Ender Pearl that I needed, made the last Eye of Ender, and back to our final destination. Now finally all geared up, I was finally ready to take that deep plunge into the end and get this challenge over with.
And kick back in a hot tub for my victory.
You know, hop in?
No!
You're kidding me.
They locked me in a cube. If I hadn't brought that much TNT to help break my way out of here, this whole thing would have just been soft locked and I probably would just kill myself. Eventually I managed to tunnel my way out of the world's worst pet itself, although not after spending 20 minutes screaming until my face turned blue. Once freed, I was finally met with the fierce Ender Dragon herself and quickly began picking off her End Crystal Tower Healy thingies. I don't know what they're called. And once fit, yeah, I'm gonna be real honest. I really wanted this to be some sort of epic finale, but this whole fight was really just extremely boring. I got back shots by some random Enderman and spent the rest of the fight just shooting and smacking the Ender Dragon until she finally got fed up and just...
Where am I?
Got back in, reclaimed my stuff, and just smacked at her until she fucking exploded and blew out my eardrums. Boss defeated, quest completed, and a stupidly long playtime later. I did it! I answered the question of if you can win Minecraft without the mine in Minecraft. The question stuck in everyone's heads. I did it! And you can all thank me for it by giving me a real big smooch. The king has been crowned. Oh, and if you skip to the end of the video to figure out the answer to the title. 1, rude, and 2, TLDR, yes, you can.